So I took one box from the Lingerie Society and turned it into a whole bunch of different bralettes. Here's how I did it. So a little bit of a different view to get us started today. I'm actually at work at Bobbin and Ink, where I teach sewing here in Sydney. And what I'm doing is I'm fitting in some sneaky lunchtime cutting out. So what I've got here is my pattern pieces. And big Ziploc bags are like my way to get everything together. So what I've done is I have copied out the final version of the pattern with all of the changes for my fit to the cardboard. So today I'm actually using the Mara bralette from Studio Costura. It's one of my favorite soft cut bras. Basically, I love the way it fits, and it gives good lift and doesn't squash you down, and it's just comfortable, and that's what I'm kind of looking for. So what I've thought is I've got all my pattern pieces and I have a box from the Lingerie Society. So I've shown this one before in an unboxing, which I will put a link to for you so you can see everything that's actually in it. But what I'm going to do is basically take another look, and my idea, which I am still trying to formulate in my brain, is to make as many Maras as I can out of the one box, because it makes things easy because it's all mix and match, but also I have an upcoming holiday and I kind of want to get as much done as possible and try and be efficient about things. So let's take some things out of the box. Now, it's got hardware, and I'm definitely going to need more hardware and elastic and trims and stuff, but I'm going to worry about that later because I can just raid my stashes at home and just get what I want from there. So I'm just literally putting that right away to the side. Same with the lining. So I've got some grey bra lining here. It's going to be for all of the band and partial of the cup, maybe all of the cup. Sometimes I mix and match with the cup depending on how soft I want it to be and how much structure I want, but I almost always do the full frame for sure with all of the structure. So I can leave that to one side because I don't need to cut it straight away, and you know, we're working on time here, so let's pop that one to one side. Now I've got some beautiful black power mesh here, which I can hopefully unfold. Power mesh. So power mesh is easy because literally the entire band is always going to be power mesh for me. My size means that I have to have a power mesh back, or I have to double up things. I don't want to muck around, so I'm going straight with band to back. Gonna see how many I can cut, so hopefully that will help determine it. So now I've got some more elastics, which I'll throw back in the box. So I have some lace, some tulle, which has kind of got like a cute little flock on it, a Liberty swim lycra, which is lovely and firm, and then some matte jersey as well. All right, let's see what we can do here. So if I've got this much, and like, this is kind of like the longer format cutting out styles. I probably won't show you me actually doing the cutting today, but you can listen along as I try and work out all of my theory of what I'm doing. Here, I'm just checking for the stretch percentage. I'm looking at to use it for the frame for at least one, so the stretch isn't going to make a huge difference, but what I'm really hoping, it's not going to work. What I was really hoping was that my frame size would fit on the width of the fabric, and it doesn't. So even if I fold it correctly, I'm still out by a little bit. So we shall fold the other way. Now, if I was making swimwear and I had to check my stretch percentage and I needed it to actually stretch, well then, you know, all of that would come into a lot more account. But here, because I am going to line it with a fabric which is going to take away all of that stretch, well then that doesn't matter, does it? Okay, so I've got it lined up. You can actually see in the shot I've got my pattern piece back again. Yep, okay, now we're starting to fit. So I might even refold a little bit to try and be as efficient as possible with my fabric in case I can use that bit for something else. So I'll sneak that over, can still sneak it some more. When you're trying to get as most out of these as you possibly can, this is kind of what it's like. It's like a bit of a game of Tetris. You put one pattern piece on, you see what you can find. All right, there is one frame, upper cup, inner cup. So often on the pattern pieces here, and don't take a huge amount of notice of the sizing. Like it says here that it's an 80D or a 36D. I think I have made some mods. I can't remember. I'm really hoping I put them in my blog or possibly wrote it down in my notebook. But this is definitely the base pattern, but I know I have made alterations to it. But that sounds about right. As with all the bra pattern companies, I'm different sizes in different ones, but I'm somewhere between a D and an F cup depending on the bra company. So that sounds about right. But if my pattern shapes don't match yours exactly and you're the same size as me, don't worry. It probably just means I've made some alterations. All right, so that one's going to fit in there. Now, do I want a lace over? So I think if I put the mesh over the patterned lycra, as much as I love the Liberty lycra, it kind of dulls down this very cute mesh. So I'm not really wanting to cut that front panel out of the lycra. Maybe better. Still not loving it though. I don't think I want it to just be mesh. The mesh itself is beautiful, but not structurally strong enough for me to have it with just my lining. I feel like that would be a bit too sort of lightweight for me. What have we got with the lace? I love eyelet lace. It's one of my all-time favorites. I kind of don't mind the eyelet over the patterned fabric. I think that's quite cute. So maybe I might work something with that and then work something with this. So I'm going to have at least one out of the Liberty lycra and at least one out of the purple mesh. So that's two full, sorry, the purple jersey. So purple jersey matched with the spotted mesh. So that will be one style. Lycra plus black will be another style. And then I think I'm definitely going to have enough fabric to do some more. So I might do maybe a purple jersey with a black lace combination of things. And maybe I might even see if I can maybe get like a second frame out of the lycra. Basically now it's down to mixing and matching in as many ways that I can that look deliberate, because I don't want it to look patchworky. I want it to look, not that there's anything bad with patchwork, I love patchwork, but I want this to look deliberate and put together and not like I was using my leftovers. So yeah, I think that's going to work. So if I do black lace with the Liberty lycra, the spotted mesh with the purple, I'm going to have tons of the purple left over. So then I think we're going to look at what's left here and make some kind of combo. I'm contemplating whether I should make the slinky jersey into some knickers as well, but it's always hard. I'm coming into summer and I don't particularly like wearing the slinky jersey in the summer here in Australia because I find it's hot. As knickers with bras, it's not such a big deal. Yeah. Okay. So 1, 2, aiming for a third. once we get to the third, we'll see what we've got left. All right, I'm going to get to cutting. I will probably catch up with you again once I've got some more progress to show. And yeah, it's going to be fun. Let's see how many Maras we can make out of the one box. So my sneaky lunchtime cutting didn't actually get much further than the quick run through I did earlier. So I've stayed after work to do some extra cutting, and so far I've ended up with 5 different Mara bras from this kit, and I still have some bits left over. Maybe not enough to make another one, but they might be useful in other things. So I'm just going to move the camera about and explain. So I have a full purple version, which is going to be completely lined in the spot. I have a full Liberty version because I thought in a pinch on holiday it might suffice as a swim top if I got stuck. Considering we're going to the Northern Hemisphere in the wintertime, maybe not, but you know, I like to be prepared. Then I've got one which has got a purple band, a coloured cup, and the top of the cup is the black lace. One which is purple band, fully purple cup, and overlaid with the black lace for the top of the cup and part of the band. And one which is purple band, purple lower cup, mesh upper cup. I still haven't cut the power mesh, so the power mesh is still there. I have bits-ish of the purple jersey left, and then here I still have a decent amount of the purple spot, a tiny sort of weird shape of the lycra, and a little bit of the lace. I've actually folded all the little scraps of the lace up together, so I don't want to unfurl that, and I haven't cut the lining yet. So I'm actually super surprised I got 5. I was expecting like 3, but yeah, 5 it is. All right, I'm gonna pack up, go home, because I am done for the day. But yeah, good amount of cutting out, and hopefully next time I can come back and show you some finished pieces. So let's start with our leftovers. Got a little bit of lining, small amount of lace, some more scraps of lace, a bit of power mesh that maybe I might be able to squeeze like another back out of, some tiny little scraps of the purple, some hardware that I didn't use yet, a bit of the mesh, probably enough for like another couple of sets of cups maybe, a tiny amount of the Liberty lycra, oh, a little bit more there, and a little bit of elastic, a little bit of fold over, but like pretty much down to not a lot. Like I could probably squeeze and add things to it and maybe come up with one more piece, but pretty close to the end. Bras. So they're all the Mara bralette, and I've mixed and matched as best I can. So lace, Liberty, the purple. I've added in some straps from my stash. I only had the narrower elastic in my stash. I don't particularly like narrow elastic for wired bras. I like something that feels a little bit more stable, a little bit more secure. But when I'm wearing a bralette, I'm fine with it. So I was like, hey, why not just use what we've got in the stash? Black power mesh in the back and a black closure. I've just lined this one with some white lining that I had from my stash, and the hot pink casing is also from my stash. So my goal each time was to try and use what was in the box first and then supplement it where I had to. So that was the first one, which was kind of a combo of all of the 3. And then I did this one. So this one's all of the Liberty lycra, and it's so soft and really plush and lovely to feel. And this one I finished with a bit of fold over elastic. I've got a narrow kind of textured fold over from the stash here. Again, the skinnier straps. And this one I kind of was like, I'm gonna make it look a little bit more swimsuity, just in case, you know, we've been on flights before where we have been stuck and I've had to go buy a swimsuit because I didn't have one with me. So I was like, well, you know, this in a pinch could double as that. So, you know, I wouldn't wear it as my regular swimsuit, but if you're stuck, that's not too bad. Again, it's lined with the white lining, and I had some black casing for this one. I think this is the black casing that came from the actual box, because it's the lovely flat one, which I don't always have at home. So that was the second bra. The third one, I'm mixing it up again, and I'm adding in some of the spot with the purple. At first I was a little worried that the spot would be a little bit too lightweight on a bra for me and not offer quite enough stabilization. And then I kind of had like a light bulb moment, and I was like, you know what you can do? Just add a more structured and more stable lining. So the white lining I've got in there is a little bit more stable. So that kind of solved some problems for me, which was kind of nice. Again, I've just gone with some fold over for the closure. The wrinkles kind of go away a little bit when wearing, but it did kind of make me think that, like, as I was sewing in, you really have to use a light touch so that you don't get any of these kind of wrinkled lines. I'm not overly bothered by it, but it's kind of one of those things that when I see it now in hindsight, I'm like, next time, do better. So, again, hot pink closure, hot pink of the casing in there, and then the white lining again, and I took the fold over all the way around, and a black closure again. I did kind of cheat to what I normally do here, and I actually kept the same color thread on as much as possible, just to increase the speed at which I could do it. This one is possibly one of my favorites of the whole set. So I've gone with just the mesh with just the lining underneath, and then here it's the mesh laid over the purple, and I really love it. It's really cute and retro. I've added this beautiful elastic here. So this one again is from Pit Trading, just like the kit was as well. Most of my extras were probably from there, but this is actually a velvet, and then this little ruffle off the top. It's just so cute and really adds to the kind of retro feel and goes in well with the little flocked spot. White lining again, black closure, and the same black from the kit as well for the casing. So yeah, really cute. Was super happy with that one. And it's really fun to make the same thing over and over. And then the last one was this black lace and purple one. So it's been folded up, so I'm just going to try and flatten it out a little. That's a bit better. So with this one, I experimented a little bit with the lace heading down. I don't often have ones with lace coming down. I have a very short torso, and I find more often than not it just kind of folds up on me. So I thought I'd do a little bit of experiment on it on the Mara, because I haven't done that on this particular style before, and I just thought it'd be fun to try. Then the black lace. So the lace, I've actually got the purple behind it this time, and then just the purple side. Again, the skinny strapping, another back closure, and then the hot pink. This one's got the slightly more grey lining. Sorry, I was going to say slightly more stable, but I actually meant the white one's slightly more stable than the grey. They're pretty close. The white one's just slightly lighter, whereas the grey one's a slight heavier, which is why I added it underneath the purple. The purple is quite flexible when you sew it, so I wanted a little bit more stability in there. I also kind of wanted to keep this one as dark looking as possible, just for aesthetics, no other reason. So that's everything I got. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bralettes, all from the one box. And like I showed you before, a little bit of scraps left over, could probably squeak in an extra one. But yeah, I had lots of fun making the same thing continuously. It made me a lot faster at it. It got the technique of how to sew it down really well, which I really enjoy doing that. Overall, really great fun, and I can't wait to take these ones on holidays. Yeah, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll be back again soon with some more bra fun.
Like seeing these kind of videos, please subscribe. It helps me out so much to know that people are out there watching. If you've got anything you want to ask questions about with bras or any other kind of styling, please let me know. You can always leave a comment down below. You can find me on other social medias. All the links are down below. But yeah, if you can subscribe here, I'm going to be back with more videos in the new year.